Hey there everybody, Eric from Outer Limitless coming at you today with another video. Now today's video was supposed to be a review, and the further and further I got into planning this, the further and further I realized this video is much more than a review. In fact, this is a perfect opportunity for a little story. Now before I get into my story, the reason why we're here today is to look at some beautiful leather products from the company Popov Leather. And before I get too far, I'd like to say thank you to the people at Popov Leather who have provided these products for review today. Now, why am I saying the further and further I got into this, the further and further I realized this was not just a review and actually more of a story? Well, the reality is, I kind of have a little bit of a connection with the people who provided these products. Popov Leather, to me, as I looked further into the company and did some research and kind of took a look at what it was behind the scenes that really makes this company what it is, I realized that they had a lot of character, a lot of heart. This is a company that is truly entrepreneurial, and that is something that really resonated with me. And why I say that is because the whole reason why I'm here today is because of my entrepreneurial nature. The fact that I like to take something that for me as a hobby, have a little bit of a business aspect to it, something that I need to strive for. Work at it day after day after day and keep pushing and trying to take myself further and further. Now, I don't talk about this very often, and you may or may not even realize. In my day job, I'm an engineer, but all the rest of the time of my life, I'm pretty much inventing things, creating things, and a little earlier in my life, when I was coming out of my college years, I actually started my time as a photographer. Now I'm still a photographer today, but things have changed quite a bit over the course of time as I've been living with my hobby and creating it into somewhat of a business. Now, when I started my hobby, digital cameras barely even existed. This was back in 1999 when the best camera I could afford was about $1,200, and it was basically just a 2.1 megapixel camera. I had that thing with me all the time. I'd bring it all over the place. I'd be the guy that was constantly taking pictures, documenting everything, and some of them were good, some of them not so great. But it didn't matter because to me it was a hobby. It was something that I could keep continually growing with, trying to get better and better all the time, take better and better photographs, learn about the technology, learn about all the science behind it, and it was something that I was constantly working on. Now, with that said, I turned the hobby into more and more of a business as time went on, documenting all of my work, all of my engineering work and different projects that I was involved with. I would take it to the next level where for a long period of time, I was even doing a series of rooftop photos, and it was excellent. I had rooftop photo access all over the place. I'd meet great people and see different things that were very inspiring, and I really loved that. Now, unfortunately, with the tragedies of 9/11, I did lose the ability to pretty much do any of my rooftop photography. A lot of that got closed down, and it was something that was very difficult to me, so I really had to get focused and change gears. Now, with that said, I found all kinds of other ways to make the hobby work, but also be a lucrative business. I spent time working with companies, creating Christmas cards. I shot a lot of sports photography and had opportunities really to get in deep with a lot of teams, get to know the players, get to know the families, and really put out some excellent products. Furthermore, I even had the opportunity to have gallery hangings and put my pictures all over the place. It was really neat because I got to know a lot of business owners and really started to make a name for myself. Now, that was really difficult and took a ton of effort, and what I found ultimately was that it made more sense for me to get into the wedding business. So for about the past decade, I've been working with different photographers and also getting jobs on my own as a photographer, shooting weddings every weekend, and I am still very active in that business. And that's what takes me here today. I've actually taken a lot of the skills that I've acquired over time and kind of combined them all together in what you see in Outer Limitless. And the reason why I tell this story today is because it's very similar to a story that you'll see from Popov Leather.
My name is Ryan Popov. I'm the owner and maker of Popov Leather. This all started as a hobby after I graduated. I was working night shift at UVic, and there was a lot of downtime, so I spent a lot of that watching YouTube videos on how to do leather work. Basically just became obsessed with it. Sort of just a creative outlet, I guess, at the time when I needed one. Yeah, I don't know.
No.
Jill convinced me to throw something up on Etsy, and then we got a sale like the first couple of days. It eventually paid for the leather, and that sort of snowballed into what we're doing today. Every time you use a new material, you have to learn it, and you have to be really comfortable and sort of push the boundaries of the material. With leather work, there's more than one way to approach it. All our methods are consistent, so we cut it the same way, we stitch it the same way, but there's always something different about it. Yeah, and this smells great. I really like the smell.
So I think now you can see why I've gravitated towards this company. Now, granted, Popov Leather did reach out to me to provide a review of these products, but as soon as I saw them and I saw what they were about, I was like, yes, I understand these guys. I know what it is that makes them tick. And their excellence and their attention to detail is something that, for me, I am naturally drawn to. So now let's take a quick look at these products so you can see what I'm talking about. So here you see two products on the left. This is the black 5-card leather wallet, and on the right, this is the pocket armor. Now in general, on all of Popov's products, you can pretty much pick your color and your stitching as well as some other feature details. For me, I tended to gravitate naturally towards a black product. I do like all kinds of different leather products in different colors. However, for me, typically black is a safe bet. It's something that would be pretty much an everyday carry for me, matches most of the things that, I tend to like my outfits or my gear, something like that, and the red leather stitching to me was something that would absolutely pop and really look great. So where I had the opportunity to really pick and tailor my product for my own personal preference, I chose the black with red stitching. Now, I'm not going to go into terrible detail here, and I am certainly not an expert, but what I can tell you is that these products are made from full-grain USA Horween leather. So, Horween leather, if you get into it, and again, I am not an experienced person with leather for the most part. However, the little bit that I looked into it, it is a premium leather, so you are getting a top-notch leather product here with top-notch materials. All of the edges are burnished and polished. This is sewn by hand with imported tiger thread, which is supposedly stronger than typical machine stitching. Now this does have 5 pockets, which is large enough to accommodate 2 cards or more per slot. And I can tell you that I absolutely pack this wallet nice and full. I have more than 12 cards I need to carry in here, in addition to key cards, which, if you're familiar with magnetic key cards, can be quite thick. Now this can fit some cash if you want to fold it up, and I do. I typically carry a couple of bills in here, just a couple of 20s for some spare backup money in case I need it or I have a problem with one of my debit cards. Now this 5-card wallet is considered to be a front pocket carry, which I love. I pretty much stopped carrying wallets in my back pocket maybe 10 years ago, so to have something like this that's the perfect size, nice and small, reasonably compact all things considered, yet fully functional and can fit in my front pocket, I absolutely love it. And on the right, the pocket leather, just like the wallet, you do have the ability to pick both your color of leather and also the stitching. This too is made from the high quality Horween leather, hand stitched with tiger thread, and all the edges are sanded, beveled, and burnished. Now you may notice that this particular pocket armor does have a loop on the side which can accommodate a pen. Here you'll see I have a small space pen. I found that this does fit perfectly. It has zero tendency to slide out, and I've had it in here pretty much since the day I got my pocket armor, and it has worked quite well. Now getting into some of the finer details here. It's a little bit hard for you to see with the light, but you will see that this is also engraved. They do a beautiful job with the engraving on these products if you do choose it. So for me, I wanted to get a little bit of style and sort of show off here, have my brand name on here and really make it look just a little bit more, I'd say, finished. Just that final little step. So not only the contrasting stitching, but just having the name in there is definitely a nice little touch. Now as you look on the inside, I have been carrying this for almost a month, so you'll see that there are some marks and scuffs and all that. Well, you know what's awesome about leather? This is a product that tells a story. What I love about leather is over time it really becomes customized to how you have lived your life and the story that this has gone through. And you know, even though there's marks and nicks and digs and all that stuff, that's just a character issue. It's really, for me, something that I love. I love adding the character to my products. I do not like to damage my products, but I do like to see use and wear. That's the case for all of my gear. I like to see that it's been well used, and that is definitely the case with leather. Now inside you'll see that this is 4 pockets on the inside. There's a little bit of the unfinished material here where you really get a beautiful two-tone look. I like that very much. I think it's super clean. Not only do you have the two-tone between the natural brown and then the finished black, but then with that stitching popping off, it's just a really excellent look and I very much enjoy it. As I mentioned, I do stuff this quite full. I found as though that these sleeves are very ample, so the pockets themselves can hold a decent amount of cards, and it actually helps it when it's stacked out to fit nice and full and flush. I feel as though, you know, when it's really filled up, it has like a nice sort of shape to it and really just sort of fills out. Now, obviously, for this video, I've taken everything out of here. I don't need you seeing my personal business, and that's pretty much something that you're just going to have to understand. But for me, just kind of filling this out, it worked out very nicely. And apart from the 4 interior pockets, the one feature on here that definitely sets this apart and makes it so great is this one exterior pocket. I love, love, love having this pocket on the outside for my most accessed card. I typically pay for most of my stuff with a debit card, so I keep that on the outside and slide a little bit of cash back there, and it has worked absolutely perfect. And furthermore, as I mentioned, I do use magnetic key cards, so this has been inside my wallet and had no problem. As I go to access different areas in my buildings, I'm able to simply touch my wallet to the area that you need to, and this has had no problem receiving a signal. Now, with that said, obviously you have no like RFID blocking capability, but in general, I think that's to be expected when you have a product that's just simply a leather wallet. Now, it's really when you look at the very fine details that you really see the passion in these products coming out. Simple things like how perfectly the leather is cut and how evenly it's all matched. The ability for you to really get your cards out simply. They have the absolute perfect amount of overlap and reveal from pocket to pocket so that you can easily access your cards. And if you look at how nicely these sort of sweeps on the leather are cut, it's just beautifully done, nice and symmetrical. Every detail is really perfect. And what really caught my attention, as simple as this is how perfectly the stitching is done. Keeping in mind this is hand stitched, but the way they just finish off the thread is really brilliant. It's simple, very, very simple, yet really sophisticated in a way where it's just real clean and neat and nice, very fine detail. But when you look up close, you realize how carefully they are paying attention to the details. And that's also exactly the same with this pocket armor. Very nicely done on the stitching all the way around. And when you look at the pen loop, it's actually brilliant the way they kind of lashed off both the top and the bottom to prevent any sort of pulling. So I like how they've done that. Again, just very carefully paying attention to all the details. Now again, this pocket armor in black with red stitching, and I also opted to have the Outer Limitless name etched on the outside of this pocket armor. Now there's all kinds of different things you could keep in this pocket armor, but for me what I found is really a small knife with no pocket clip really is a good application for this. For me, this pocket armor is a little bit hit or miss simply from the fact that it does not have a belt loop. I kind of wish it did because I feel like I would use this for a number of different items, probably different than I've been using it. Like if I had it on my hip, it would definitely be helpful to have the pen easily and accessible. And I'd almost like to see actually a second loop on here where you could put a very small flashlight, either a keychain flashlight or even better, like a pen style. So kind of like a pen light would be really cool. And the other thing is a small multi-tool would be excellent to keep in here if you had it on your belt. But for me, where this does not have the belt loop, I've been keeping this small pocket knife, which does not have a clip. And one of the problems that I had with this knife was the fact that it was always falling out of my pocket just very easily out of like my khaki pants or something like that. So in reality, this pocket armor certainly helped with that problem. Now, in general, I think the wallet is absolutely perfectly made. There is nothing I would change about it. I'm loving the fact that this is getting some character. I love the shape and size and feel. When you smell this, just the smell of that leather is amazing. If you like the smell of leather, this is definitely a treat. And on the pocket armor, I do like it. However, I think it would definitely be enhanced with a loop on the back. It would certainly help me. It would give me personally a lot more use out of this, and I would tend to go to it probably every single day. I'd keep it on my belt, and this would just become part of my typical EDC. And maybe adding a second loop would be a feature that would be great. I don't know if it's possible to order this with 2 loops, but that would also be very cool. So say, for example, the pen, a pen light, and also a multi-tool, that would make this a really great pouch. But as I mentioned, both of these definitely beautiful, excellent products, and something that Popov Leather should certainly be very proud of. So alright guys, there you have it, a quick look at a couple of great products from Popov Leather. So again, thank you very much to the people at Popov Leather. I very much enjoy your passion. As much as I really do enjoy your products, more than anything else, I appreciate your drive, your passion, and your overall eye for excellence. So with that said, at this point, for me, the hobbies that I have, the ability to turn them into a business, like photography. I have done digital photography now for almost 20 years. Never mind time earlier than that, learning film and all these different techniques. It is absolutely amazing to work hard and get honed in on your craft, and that is what these people are doing. They found something that started as a hobby, but they found the passion, the ability to approach this and attack it every single day with an attention to detail and just that quest for excellence. I really appreciate that about these products, and I really do think it shows. So alright guys, thanks for stopping by. I hope you like what you saw. I hope you found it a little bit informative. If you like what you saw, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for stopping by. Take care now. I'll see you soon.